In this lecture, we'll be discussing about paragraph writing. Now, if you are to answer the question, what a paragraph is, a simple statement would be when you put a group of sentences together, that is what called a paragraph. Now, when you're writing letters, when you're writing an essay or story or anything, we use paragraph. Now, what some points we have to keep in mind while we have like basic rule. There's only one basic rule while framing a paragraph, that is one idea in one paragraph, which means that, for example, if you're writing an essay or maybe an answer to a question in the examination, you begin by writing maybe about the author. First paragraph about the author, like an introduction. Now, when you're writing about the author, you will write about the place he was born in, then you will write about his works, you will write about what happened in his life, and suddenly you decide to write about the conclusion of the story which the question is based on. Do we do that? No. So, we usually try to put one idea. If the first paragraph is about the author, we just talk about the author. And then maybe the following paragraph will have the starting part of the story or the introduction of the story. So, this is how we frame paragraphs. Paragraphs we frame based on one idea. One paragraph should focus on one particular idea. This is like a basic rule associated with writing a paragraph. How do we usually write a paragraph? Now, there are like three steps to follow. First one is if we are writing just a paragraph. First, we will have to find an apt topic in order to put into a paragraph. There might be some topics where we can give like a lot of description, but then we'll have to go for a topic that we can kind of put into a single paragraph. Then we will have, once the topic is ready, then we will have to think of certain supporting details, like what all information can be collected for the topic that we have decided. Then at the end of that paragraph, we can have like a concluding statement for the topic that we chose. Now, this is only possible when we are trying to write one single paragraph, because the closing sentence comes there. If we are writing an essay, the closing sentence will obviously be in the last paragraph. So this happens when we are writing something in one single paragraph. So first we find the topic, then we find supporting details, and then we try to close or end the paragraph by one last sentence. Now we can look into the different types of paragraphs. The first type is what we call as descriptive paragraph. Then we have narrative, expository, and persuasive. Descriptive paragraph, as the title mentions, this paragraph is describing about something, and usually it describes or gives us specific information related to sensory details, like what a person can see, hear, touch, taste, smell. So this is what the description will be. For example, if I'm talking about the sky is blue in color, I can see the clouds moving, there's the wind I can feel. So all these are sentences to get what called a script paragraph. They have narrative paragraph. Narrative paragraph is basically narrative story. It's like creating a story with a sequence talking about an adventure, something like that. So this is what a narrative paragraph is. Next one is expository paragraph. This expository paragraph, we will be giving information about something. We will be providing explanation about something. Now, this kind of paragraph is not something that we can bluff about. We need to do a lot of research. We need to have a lot of authentic information. That is what expository paragraph is. For example, I'm talking about how to be healthy, and I'm talking about regular exercises. I'm giving information about diet plans. So all these are informations that require a lot of research. I can't simply bluff about it. So that is what expository paragraph is. And the final one is persuasive paragraph. As the title indicates, here also persuasive paragraph is to persuade someone. We are trying to convince the readers. We are trying to convince, what if the author is writing? The author will try to convince us what that person writes is correct, or is what is authentic. We have these books and all that deal with motivation, or these career guidance and all such things. So in such kind of text, we can find such kind of persuasive paragraphs, where when we are reading this, we feel like the author of that particular book is trying to make us believe or is trying to persuade us to think in the same way. So, these are the four different types of paragraph. We have descriptive, narrative, expository, and persuasive.